Remodeling can be challenging in any home, but can you imagine a home that's over 100 years old? Well, that's just what we're going to be doing on today's show as we begin with our remodeling consultant, Andy Lindus, to review some of the challenges his company is dealing with as they begin this kitchen and whole house remodeling project. Wow, Andy, the guys are really working hard on this remodeling project. Now, what's the situation here?
Well, it started out as just a refacing the cabinets, a minor kitchen remodel. But then we started really getting into it and finding out what the wishes were, what the wants were. It's turned into redoing the whole entryway, a couple of different doors, windows, all new cabinets. We ended up actually redoing the floor, ceiling, everything.
Oh my gosh, and when we pulled up here, this looked to be a pretty old house.
Yeah, this house is over 100 years old. You look at the original abstract and it actually references a wagon trail. That's how you know you're dealing with an old house. And I'm telling you, once we tear into these walls, it's an old home.
Well, throughout the next couple shows, I'm anxious to get into learn more about some of the challenges that you overcame on a project like this. And you said that they originally called you just to reface some cabinets. And I remember in previous shows, so many of your projects seem to start out that way. And to me, it seems as though that's one of your priorities is to get to know the homeowners to see if that's really the only thing that they really want to get done in their hearts.
Well, customers reach out to us really when they don't know exactly what they want, but they just want to start the conversation of what could be. And that's really what our job is. Our job is to not only come in and find out what do you need, but what do you want? And I know if I can get close to what they want, they're going to be happy customers.
And ultimately, that's what you're after is a happy customer. And more importantly, it's their home. They should be happy with the end result. They shouldn't be left wanting more when it's done.
All projects are special, but when you really get into somebody's kitchen, you're doing a whole main floor remodel. This is something you're going to make sure you cross every T, dot every I, and make sure that every aspect is taken care of. When you leave, this is going to be a showpiece.
Does experience really play a role when you're working on a home this old?
Experience is everything. It'd be one thing to build brand new construction or in addition off of plans. But on a project like this, you really don't know what you're going to get into until you tear up the floor, tear into the ceiling, tear into a wall. They didn't have a range hood at all. All that stuff had to be custom fit through there. The electrical work behind here would have been piecemealed together over the last 100 years. All of that had to go. I couldn't tell if it was in code or not in code until I got into the wall. So
that said, how do you go about creating a bid?
It does have its challenges, but with experience like we have a good guesstimate, and we put some allowances in there and say, you know what, best case scenario, this is where your remodeling project's going to come in at. Worst case scenario, then we put a ceiling on it, so it's not a big shocker. If you don't have that type of range with your contractor and you're just going to be dealing with change orders, that's when the final sit down can get a little bit testy. So try to put as much up front as we possibly can, but until we tear into a project like this, you really don't know.
So let's quickly walk through here, because you mentioned it evolved into much more than just a kitchen remodel. So
yeah.
Take a quick tour. Tell us what's being done.
These awesome bamboo floors were put in last week. The Omega cabinets here, installing today and tomorrow. 2 different types of cabinets, one for the island, one for cabinetry along the wall. Same manufacturer, just different finishes, something that the homeowners are really looking forward to, wanting to break up the room. That's another thing. With the room being out of whack, well, a couple of tricks of the trade to either break up the ceiling and the floor so you can hide some of those things.
Oh, sure. And I had a chance to just introduce myself to the homeowners and said, what was their number one concern with this? I'm thinking, more light, more of this. It was that it was an American-made product going in.
Cabinets made in Iowa. We got new windows getting installed tomorrow that are made in Ohio. Doors are made in Ohio. Flooring came from Kansas. And the actual ceiling came from a forest in Wisconsin. And it was finished here about 20 miles away.
Boy. That's wonderful. So you're accomplishing your goals and their wants, needs, and desires in this project. And although the kitchen is the focal point, this project all started on the outside, right?
Yeah, the first thing we did was build a brand new deck. Now, when you first come to this home, this deck, it's the entryway into the home. was an old 25-year-old cedar deck, and you couldn't really reuse any of the bracing, and just showing its age. It had a bench that was kind of rotting away, so really refinishing it, yeah, you could have, but what does that get you? Another 2-3 years. So I reached out to my friends at Zuri, was able to put a maintenance-free deck on, and it's getting all finished tomorrow. So 3 days, the deck build will be completely done. It really is going to be a showpiece. People are going to not even want to walk into the house. This deck will be so awesome.